Coming up on AgweekTV, the cattle industry is fighting to recover from several tough years of declining herds. A federal court makes a ruling on Dicamba that soybean growers need to know about. Rural areas are getting millions of dollars for clean energy projects. And our livestock tour continues with a trip to a small farm raising sheep for 4-H kids to show. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. The EPA will allow limited use of 3 over-the-top Dicamba herbicides that had their registrations tossed out by a federal court in Arizona. The federal court ruling on February 6 banned the use of a variety of herbicides. But given the tight timeline until planting season, ag groups urge the EPA to allow use of existing stocks that many farmers already purchased for the 2024 growing season. The EPA issued an existing stocks order on February 14th. The agency said that use can continue for this growing season as long as users follow previous label requirements for use in both soybeans and cotton. The EPA said using existing stocks would be preferable to trying to find new products and disposing of existing inventory. This would keep farmers from using Dicamba products that were never intended to be used on emerged soybeans. The EPA estimates about 65 million acres, 2/3 soybeans and 3/4 cotton are Dicamba resistant. Cattle inventory has been dropping across the United States. It's now at the lowest number of cow-calves recorded since 1951 at 87.2 million head. The calf crop is also down 2% from last year, the smallest size since 1948. In this week's Ag Week cover story, we look at the efforts to rebuild the herds.
Many factors have led to lower cattle inventory the past few years. With recent drought years, producers were forced to sell off cattle and in turn lose some of those genetics that they've worked generations to produce. The herd numbers around the country are still feeling those effects.
Drought and many different factors have got us cut down.
Profitability is another factor in the decrease of cattle.
We're losing some of our generational ranchers. Hopefully we can turn that back, get the youth ready to get back into this and make it be profitable. And that's how we're going to keep them in the game.
Livestock may be at the same numbers as they were in the 1950s. However, those cattle do look different.
Now, I know we make these animals a little bigger than we used to as we fatten them, but still a very significant amount we're short in numbers. So I think that's going to play in the market quite well for a while.
Input prices are high, but cattle prices are good, which in turn will help the rebuilding process.
But I think we're starting to build that herd back. We're starting to see prices turn around to where we can live with them. Our inputs are high, but the cattle prices are as good as we've seen in a long time too. So I think we're turning that corner, and we'll start to see them put these females back to work.
Basically what you got to do here is you just got to optimize during these high prices and try and get ahead and brace for when it does come down. But, you need to get them cows bred, so you maybe supplement a little bit more. Try and watch your efficiency on your calves to make sure they're gaining the most.
However, the rebuilding process isn't something that will happen overnight. It will take several years to get those herd numbers back up to pre-drought levels.
Weather is going to be a huge factor. We need to get some moisture. And a lot of times with these higher prices, people will tend to sell a little bit, a few more of the heifers and retain them back.
Well, I think we're probably going to be into this hopefully for 2 or 3 years of rebuild. We can't turn these heifers around as fast as they can some others. So I think we could have 2 or 3 good years here, hopefully with this calf market staying where it is.
You can read more about the cattle numbers and markets in the next Ag Week magazine or at agweek.com. Rural America is reaping the rewards of a federal grant program for rural energy. REAP stands for Rural Energy for America. It's run by the U.S. Ag Department to help farmers and rural small businesses access renewable and efficient energy technology. U.S. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack came to Minnesota to check out some of the projects that the money is being used for. Miller's Market in St. Charles received about $100,000 to install solar panels there and at the hardware store, which is expected to generate significant energy savings. A local farm also received a $78,000 grant for a wind turbine that will save them $11,000 a year.
I think with a REAP program that creates opportunities to lower costs, obviously that's important. The opportunity to take that excess energy that can be produced and use it as a new commodity, that's important.
Minnesota is the top state in the country taking part in the REAP program, with nearly 500 projects across the state. Ahead on AgweekTV, what it takes to raise a championship cattle for the show ring.
It was October 1st, 2009. We needed some machinery for the farm. We decided to see if we could become a dealer, and that's kind of grown into what it's been today.
We offer basically anything short line. Seed tenders, fertilizer spreaders, sprayers. We can really set ourselves apart by the knowledge we have in those things, by the amount of units we have on hand at all times.
I just have a passion for helping people, getting to know people. It just becomes a lot of fun.
Farming is more than a career. It's a lifestyle, a calling, and a badge of honor. That's why it's important to have a banking partner who doesn't just understand the farming industry, they understand your farm. At Bremer Bank, we've spent more than 80 years working side by side with farmers like you to help you invest in and grow your operation. Season after season, from one generation to the next.
Looking to add non-GMO conventional and organic soybeans to your rotation this year? Soyco International out of Gary, Minnesota is looking for new farmer contracts for the 2023 season. They have proven marketing strategies, partnered with local agronomy expertise to work alongside and provide the certified seeds needed for their contract growers. Soyco International is offering premium prices to boost your operation's bottom line. Reach out to Sean Young today at 218-350-3863 to answer any questions.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Stop by the Erickson Custom Operations booth during the International Crop Expo at the Alara Center. AquaYield reps will be there to discuss proven nano-liquid technology, and Calcine reps will be on hand to walk through your saline soil issues. That's February 21st from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and February 22nd from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the International Crop Expo, booth 533.
The AgWeek Livestock Tour is brought to you by Linskov Ranch and Stockman's Livestock Exchange.
Our livestock tour continues this week. We start in Northwest North Dakota, where one family's annual livestock show helps local 4-H kids. Brandon and Caitlin Weidert have found sheep are the right fit for them.
What is your job?
Feed them.
Do you like to feed them bottles, the bottle limbs? Yep.
Raising sheep is a family affair for Brandon and Caitlin Weidert. Even 4-year-old Nora takes her turn feeding the lambs, and sometimes baby Wallen tags along.
You're smiley or tired?
The Weiderts both grew up on cattle farms, but chose to raise sheep when they bought their own smaller piece of land. And they knew smaller animals would be easier for 4-H kids to handle and show.
You know, it's a new challenge every year to see what kind of quality lambs we do get, and to see how kids can take them and hopefully learn from them and be successful with them.
The Weiderts raise about 70 lambs a year. Right now, they're wrapping up lambing season. They sell some for meat, but most of their lambs are sold each year to 4-H kids. They plan to maintain their flock size at about 70 and keep working to improve the quality.
Keep purchasing, new bucks and looking at opportunities like that. But definitely just increasing quality.
The Weiderts both have full-time jobs in the ag sector, so at least for now, this is kind of a hobby for them. They were both 4-H kids, so they say they love to see the younger ones with their new animals.
We find a lot of joy in getting those first few on the ground and getting the timing and process started, and then watching them go through the sale and watching the kids grow through them throughout the summer.
The Weiderts will sell about 30 Sulfic Hampshire Cross lambs at the Top of Dakota sale on April 20th. Now we visit southeast Minnesota, where the Kaler family is marking the 143 year of its family farm. The Kaler Cattle Company is owned by Mina and Ralph Kaler and run by their son Seth and his wife Shelby. Seth says he hopes his kids will be the 6th generation to operate the farm at St. Charles. The farm has its annual Structured for Success production sale this weekend. They're selling 40 Simmental bulls, 6 Angus bulls, 34 bred heifers, 1 donor, and 15 commercial replacements. Kaler says the number of animals they raise depends on the year.
Our bred heifer division, I think, is really stout. We got, it's just the same thing of a revolving door of trying to keep the, elite genetics and performance. And, the top end of them is really, really nice.
The Kaler family gained some international attention when Seth was a child. They traveled to Cuba to participate in a trade mission and met Fidel Castro. When raising show cattle, there is one goal when entering the show ring: to have the champion animal. For many producers, raising these winning animals is something they have strived to do for a long time.
Paisley Carlson from Pipestone, Minnesota saw great success in the show ring at the Black Hills Stock Show in January. Both her Charolais bull and heifer were named the champions in the division.
It's not always easy, that's for sure. It's fun when you get to shows and sales like this and your hard work pays off. It really makes it fun and want to keep striving to be better.
In the Angus show, this bull from T3 Angus of Beulah, Wyoming was named champion.
He's a 2-year-old, so I've had him for about 2 years now. We started him when he was a yearling, so we've been very fortunate enough to have a lot of traffic on him. We've shown him before around.
Working with Champion Livestock starts long before entering the ring.
Just getting them in the barn as calves, making sure they're on the right feed program, getting them in the barn, getting them used to getting washed, blown out, and just used to getting on the halter.
It takes strong genetics to be successful.
They'll judge them based on conformation, soundness, structure, all of that, presentation. How well they're clipped, groomed, stuff like that.
But all the hard work pays off in the end, not only with the championship title, but also the networking opportunities that come with attending stock shows.
Mostly it gets our name out there. It's a great networking opportunity, not only for our business, but for ourselves. We make so many great connections throughout the cattle industry, and we just get to build upon those connections each time we go to a stock show.
PGC Cattle Charolais heifer was named the Grand Champion heifer at the Supreme Drive the last night of the Black Hills Stock Show. Ahead on AgweekTV, we'll tell you where soybean growers can learn about the latest research and product development with their crop.
A farmer's work is never done. You're not just planting a seed or harvesting a crop. You're growing a legacy. When you're up before dawn and out long past dusk, you need a banker who will work with your schedule, not the other way around. At Choice, we do banking differently, giving farmers like you time back to focus on what really matters. Choice Bank, top North Dakota Ag Bank for 10 years running, and always people first.
Are you a farmer looking to stay on top of trends and innovations in your industry? Attend the International Crop Expo, February 21st and 22nd at the Alaris Center. This free event includes seminars and a trade show featuring over 100,000 square feet of farming machinery and vendors. Hear from keynote speakers Hunter Pinky, Russ Tweeten, and Bobby Sondrell. Also check out the new BASF Beer Garden. That's February 21st through 22nd at the Alaris Center. Take your farming skills to the next level. Learn more at cropexpo.com.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
My name is Dawn, and this is my husband, Trent. I've been ranching ever since I was a little girl.
And I married into it.
We believe that if you take care of your land, it will give back to you and to your future generations. We value the helpfulness of finding the information and guidance we need in one place. Thankfully, the Dakota Legacy Initiative can provide just that for us. Visit DakotaLegacyInitiative.com for more information.
The simplicity, it's a complicated planter, but it's also simple. That row meter is just very simple and it just seems to work. I like that just having that tube delivering the seed with an airstream and not having to have extra belts on it or extra electric motors and stuff. A lot of this machinery seems like it's almost getting overly complicated. The simpler that it can work, but do what it's supposed to do, I think this machine can definitely do that.
Ag Week weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
How long can we expect this mild winter to last? Here's John with our AgriWeather outlook.
The general outlook for the next 2 weeks, we're actually talking about now the close of the month of February and the start of the beginning of March, and it's looking mild once again. A couple of weeks ago, it was looking like sometime in February, the weather would be turning a little bit colder. That has really just not shown up. The coldest air ended up following a storm system out over the northeastern states and out to sea, and it's left most of the country with some fairly mild temperatures, especially the northern part of the country. This first week of this forecast period is looking mostly pretty dry. I'll show you the exceptions to that. But March is coming. Tends to be some subtle pattern changes that go on in the atmosphere as we get into March weather. Tends to be a little more active month than February, and that may be the case this time around as well. We'll show you what's happening. Jet stream flow, basically the polar jet, it got a little trough out in the Gulf of Alaska, but it's still mostly pretty far north. Here's that push of colder weather, moving it into the eastern Great Lakes and the northeastern states, following a couple of northeastern storm systems, and it remains quite cool down in the deep south. You want warm weather in the east, you got to go down to South Florida to find it. Cool meaning warmer than average here in the northern plains, with a lot of these days this week in the 30s and 40s. Very mild weather, a little bit colder weather around the Great Lakes, and of course in the higher elevations of the mountains. As you start getting into the second half of February, solar radiation starts to win out. And you start getting those 80s consistently, getting up into the usual suspects like the Southwest, Texas, and usually South Florida. And those will push north sometimes, 70s and 80s anyway, from time to time. We'll keep things relatively cool this week across the north. Notice we're beginning to carve out another trough, another little modest push of that really cold air, but it's mostly going to remain Canadian and centered around Hudson Bay. So I don't expect a lot of cold weather this week into the United States. As we slip into the second week, starting to see a bit of a ridge trough pattern in the polar jet stream, favors cold weather in the east and a warm up in the west. Should start seeing melting conditions over all but the Rockies, but the cool down is not expected to be that extreme in the east. And toward the end of the period, as we head toward the first part of March, there is some evidence that we'll start to carve out a trough that could eventually lead to stormy weather into some parts of the Great Plains. Too early to tell. This first week, February 18th through 24th, most of the nation pretty dry. Little snow around the Great Lakes, some precipitation along the Atlantic seaboard and the Appalachians. A lot of that in the form of rain until you get far enough north. The second week of the period, the transition, this looks like a much bigger storm in the eastern part of the country and a west coast storm as well, which may eventually yield some precip out into the Great Plains in March.
North Dakota Farmers Union is hosting the Evolution Ag Summit on Tuesday, February 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the NDFU headquarters in Jamestown. This is a one-day event focused on the value of implementing carbon sequestration practices on North Dakota farms and ranches. Topics will include industry perspectives, agronomics and economics of soil carbon sequestration incentives, and a farmer-rancher perspective panel. Register online at ndfu.org/evolutionag.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
Built in North Dakota and delivered across the Midwest, every Pinky home is a custom home. Designed for your family, built by ours. And with our on-site lumberyard and generations of experience, we can help build the home of your dreams without breaking your budget. Build something that lasts. Build with Pinky Homes. Get to know us and see all of your customization options at pinkyhomes.com.
It was October 1st, 2009. We needed some machinery for the farm. We decided to see if we could become a dealer, and that's kind of grown into what it's been today.
We offer basically anything short line. Seed tenders, fertilizer spreaders, sprayers. We can really set ourselves apart by the knowledge we have in those things, by the amount of units we have on hand at all times.
I just have a passion for helping people, getting to know people. It just becomes a lot of fun.
North Dakota's conservation agencies have joined forces to better serve producers and landowners. The Dakota Legacy Initiative brings conservation resources together in one easy-to-navigate website. Easily find programs, events, technical assistance, and educational materials most relevant to you. Come see where collaborative conservation begins. Learn more at dakotalegacyinitiative.com.
AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
There is a lot of exciting research going on in North Dakota soybean fields, both in improving crop production and exploring innovative new soy-based products. As Rose Dunn reports in this month's Soy Insight, growers, industry, and scientists have the chance to collaborate, exchange ideas, and develop new networks for cutting-edge soybean research next month at the 4th Annual NDSU Soybean Symposium.
The North Dakota Soybean Council funds research with two different focuses. One is production to optimize crop yield and quality. The other looks for new uses for them. The Soybean Council's research program coordinator, Mickey Mihaguli, says the aim of the NDSU Soybean Symposium is to spread the news about it to farmers, researchers, agronomists, extension, and anyone in agribusiness.
Soybeans have a lot of different uses these days, including soybeans are used in tires. We have Skechers shoes that used out of soybean oil. So those kind of out-of-box thinking and out-of-box innovative ideas will help soybean farmers to expand the use of soybeans and increase markets for soybean farmers.
The 4th Annual Soybean Symposium allows researchers to showcase their work and compare notes with others from around the region. Mihaguli says it encourages cross-disciplinary collaboration that could accelerate soybean innovation. Keynote speaker Matt Herman of the Iowa Soybean Association will cover a number of topics, including biodiesel and renewable fuels. Mihaguli says the information is presented in a way that's easy for attendees to understand.
Give them the information that is easy to digest and along with a take-home message so that if they think one or two management practices they can test on their farm and bring value to them, we think that's the win.
Mihaguli says it's important for researchers to share information about their work and for growers to learn about the work being done on their behalf.
It's going to be a really good event.
In Fargo, this is Rose Dunn for AgWeek.
The seminar is March 27th at the NDSU Alumni Center. There is no cost. To register, go to the link on your screen. Still ahead on AgweekTV, kicking off FFA Week with a look at a winning chapter.
Attention farmers, increase your revenue and prevent compaction from squeezing your profits with PTG's Central Tire Inflation System, now offered at OK Tire and Service. All controlled from the tips of your fingers, ensuring increased yield and improved fuel economy by adjusting your tire pressure within minutes. You are ensuring the best performance from your tractor on the field and off the field, compatible with any radial tire. Call the OK Tire team today or visit oktireinc.com to learn more.
Are you a farmer looking to stay on top of trends and innovations in your industry? Attend the International Crop Expo, February 21st and 22nd at the Alaris Center. This free event includes seminars and a trade show featuring over 100,000 square feet of farming machinery and vendors. Hear from keynote speakers Hunter Pinky, Russ Tweeten, and Bobby Saundrell. Also check out the new BASF Beer Garden. That's February 21st through 22nd at the Alaris Center. Take your farming skills to the next level. Learn more at cropexpo.com.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
The simplicity, I mean, it's a complicated planter, but it's also simple. That row meter is just very simple and it just seems to work. I liked it just having that tube delivering the seed with an airstream and not having to have extra belts on it or extra electric motors and stuff. A lot of this machinery seems like it's almost getting overly complicated. The simpler that it can work, but do what it's supposed to do, I think this machine can definitely do that.
Farming is more than a career. It's a lifestyle, a calling, and a badge of honor. That's why it's important to have a banking partner who doesn't just understand the farming industry, they understand your farm. At Bremer Bank, we've spent more than 80 years working side by side with farmers like you to help you invest in and grow your operation. Season after season, from one generation to the next.
This is National FFA Week, and the South Dakota Farmers Union is using it to showcase some of the state's future ag leaders, a South Dakota FFA ag mechanics team that is one of the best in the country. The team from Harrisburg won the state FFA ag mechanics competition in 2023 and went on to place 10th at National Convention. Owen Murphy organized the team when he joined FFA as a freshman, and the team continued to place higher for the next 3 years. Murphy says he grew up loving ag and can't imagine doing anything else.
I come from agricultural backgrounds with my grandpa and my uncle, working on the farm, working on mechanics just like this, and just everything you could think of, whether it's crops, like just simple tasks around the farm. I love all of it. It's who I am at this point.
Murphy says he plans to study precision ag at South Dakota State University. Team member and chapter president Erica Starr says FFA taught her much more than ag mechanics.
My philosophy on leadership is that the best leaders are good listeners who strive to build up others around them and bring the best out of every situation.
The FFA says they are about more than ag. 87% of FFA students are interested in career exploration, 81% about college prep, and 81% about technology. Stories you'll only see on AgWeek.com and in AgWeek magazine this week. Allison Thompson from The Money Farm makes her AgWeek Market section debut with an analysis of whether grains have reached their lows. And Cargill has awarded $2.5 million to the Forever Green Initiative to research 2 novel oilseed crops. We appreciate you watching AgWeek TV. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a wonderful week, everyone.